Hi, I'm Christine Blanchette, and joining me on the Closing Act Music and Entertainment program is a very special guest, Malcolm Parry, who is a newspaper columnist and photographer with an impressive career. For over 40 years, he's had his thumb on the pulse of the city of who's who. Finally, there's a documentary out there about Malcolm and his work called Society Page. And welcome so much, Malcolm, to the show. I'm just so excited to speak with you today, and congratulations on a documentary about you. Did you ever think there would be a documentary?
I'd hoped there wouldn't be.
Yeah. Yes.
It took a little convincing with Kevin Eastwood before he did it. But anyway, he found a way to convince me that it would be a good idea. And it was, I think it was.
Yes. I mean, and you met him through one of your many, many events, right? And he approached you and said, let's do a documentary, Malcolm.
Yeah, I think the main thing is my work is really not about me. It's about all the people I dealt with. And,
Yeah. So, I mean, how does it feel, though, to have a documentary about your life and looking through your lens of photographing people and writing? I mean, how does it feel to be there now? It's live streaming on the Knowledge Network.
Well, it was interesting to see it. And it was interesting to hear some other people whom I respect, who were in the picture, and said things that weren't overtly flattering, but that were, their honest opinions. And that was interesting to hear.
Yeah, so it in the documentary, I've watched it, and very educational about your life work in the history of Vancouver, of the events. And when did you know you wanted to be, with the town talk? You were doing it once a week, right? And then you were doing it twice a week, and then 3 times a week. I mean, how did your love of photography start?
Just almost since I was a little kid.
Yeah.
Mainly through my dad.
Mm-hmm.
There's a saying in this world that a lot of men, probably it applies to women too, that they often do professionally what their fathers did as a hobby. And my dad had a hobby of photography, and he's pretty good at it. And it certainly appealed to me early on. He had a hobby in carpentry. And my middle brother, became a hell of a good pattern maker. He could make anything with wood. And my dad had a hobby for music, playing the piano. And my other brother became a perfect professional keyboard player. So as far as I'm concerned, in our family, it was true. We all did professionally what our dad did for a hobby. That's how it started. Mm-hmm. Maybe you were doing the same as your mom did for a hobby. I don't know.
Yes. And did it bring up like memories, nostalgia, right? Going back to the beginning, and then going down memory lane of going to so many events. And but how many events did you go to?
How many grains of sand are there on the beach? I don't know. I went to hundreds of it. Yeah. That's what reporters do. You could say to another staff reporter at the Vancouver Sun, how many political meetings did you go to? How many car accidents did you cover? I mean, who knows how many? It's just what you do for your job.
Yes. Yeah, and Melvin, may I ask you, do you have any favorite photos?
No.
No?
I don't think so. I can sort of turn that question around a bit in the sense that when you do this, you don't really think of all the pictures you take. It's just your job. So,
Mhm.
of course, Kevin making the movie and me seeing the movie and seeing all those photos, of course, I remember every one of them. And what maybe surprised me a bit, I thought, hey, they're not too bad. Some of them are pretty good.
Yes.
And you don't think of that when you're going along.
Yes. Yes. And can you share any funny stories or highlights?
Um, the highlights I could share, the most dramatic ones, were ones that didn't appear in the movie, but dealt with other people that I interviewed, people of what you might call a deeply criminal nature, very serious, bad people. Those are the highlights, but they never, for all sorts of good reasons, they didn't appear in the movie. Well, what's that? Somebody calling? That's the front doorbell.
Yes. No, because yeah. So, what has the feedback been like?
Oh, I do remember a highlight now.
Oh,
In the
good.
picture, yeah, in the photo, there's in Kevin's picture, there is a shot that I took from the top of one of the towers of the Lionsgate Bridge, and very wide angle shot. I actually won a photo competition with it and won $500, which was
Wow.
but it transpired for all the wrong reasons. I wasn't due to make that picture, take that photo. I was editor of Vancouver magazine at the time. We had a photographer assigned to do the shot. Everything was all arranged with the people who operate the bridge to have someone go up inside the tower. And by the way, if you ever go up inside a tower of the Lionsgate Bridge on a hot sunny day, you will find a hell of a lot of birds in there. And birds, they leave a lot of guano, so it's rather smelly and hot. But anyway,
Yeah.
about 10:30, we got a phone call from the assigned photographer that he was scared. He couldn't go up. He'd lost his nerve. Yeah, what could we do now? We've made all these arrangements. So I raced home to where I am now in my home and near to Deep Cove, changed my clothes, put on running shoes, raced back, got a wide angle lens, went up the tower, bingo. So I guess you could call that a highlight. And pretty good photo too.
Yes. Oh my goodness. No, thank you for sharing. And I asked you just a moment ago, if I may ask again, what has the feedback been like?
What is the what?
Feedback. How's the feedback been like for the documentary?
Oh, I guess half a dozen people have called and said, "Hey, I saw your ugly mug on the screen."
Yes.
Generally, people seem to be at the show itself. People are always going to be complimentary when you're face to face. They're not going to punch you in the nose. But things are I got a text message this morning from an Irish woman in London I haven't seen for decades, and she said, "Hey, the world is abuzz with your movies." I don't know.
Yes.
Somebody's seen it. You've seen it.
Yes. No, it's lovely. It's a really I find it educational, and it goes like looking through your lens. But do you have you've taken many photos, and you work for the Vancouver Sun and Vancouver Magazine. But have you had many people ask to have a photo taken with you?
No, oh, some occasionally, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. When you're out. That sort of grew with the development of what we call the age of the selfie. Like when I started doing this,
Yes.
nobody really thought of that. But now you can't go anywhere without people
Yes.
photographing themselves. It is with the development of the selfie that I've had more of that. I hope they weren't totally disappointed with the shots they took.
No, I mean, No, I was just like, one of the many, many events you've gone to, if I may say, you would look and you would study the room and then take a photo. But it takes talent. Are you self-taught? Did you take, courses? Like, how did you become such a successful photographer and writer?
I'm not quite following that because I'm not
Oh
hearing.
yes. How did you have such a great eye for photography and for
Well,
writing?
I don't know if I have a particularly great eye.
Yeah.
Um, the photographs that constitute that show, and pretty well all the ones that I took in my job, are taken about as far from where I am now and where I
Yes.
am on the monitor. That is within 3 feet
Yes.
or so. With a moderately wide angle lens, close up. It's not a hell of a lot of composition involved here. You're just sort of pointing it from a little higher up. So I don't think that's, you could really distinguish that by saying it's an eye. It's a snapshot. Really,
Yeah.
that's what I call my work. With thousands of snapshots.
Yes.
I keep looking down, but of course the lens on this thing is
Yeah.
up there, and I should look at it.
Oh, you're looking. You're fine. You're fine. But but any tips or advice for those who want to, follow in your footsteps, who want to, be a professional? Any tips for people
Well,
who?
it's very difficult to follow in the footsteps of with the newspaper because newspapers are much smaller than they were when I started this. So the few jobs that do exist in newspapers that tend to be either reporters or photographers. I don't know many people who, well, some reporters do their own shots now, which they didn't used to be allowed to in the old days. But I think you'd be hard pressed to do the sort of thing that I did in the media. And you couldn't really do it outside the media because you depend on
Yes.
the media. When I went to do these photographs, I didn't go as Malcolm Parry or Matt Parry. I went there as a person representing the Vancouver Sun.
Yes.
People recognize that there's an official involvement, and their relationship, quite properly, would be with the involvement through that legitimate media with the community at large. You would
Yes.
need that authority, I would say. But
Mhm.
you may think different. I don't know.
No, it's great. It's great information. And so what is next for you, Malcolm? What is next for you? What
Next,
projects?
the next project I have to do is go out and reorganize the garage here at the house.
Yes.
Just change winter tires on one car for summer tires. In other words, you might say domestic chores.
Domestic chores, yes,
Yeah,
indeed.
if you live in a house, you've always got work to do.
Yeah.
That's it. And
So, Malcolm, it was a pleasure to
I'm looking.
interview you today.
Okay. Likewise.
So,
Which there we go. Thumbs up to you. All right.
so-
Thanks.
but
Thanks for calling.
but well, Mel, I wanted to say again, thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate your time today, and congratulations. And is there anything else you'd like to add? Anything you'd like to add before we leave?
I don't think so. I think you've got it covered. You've done your job. I've done my job. We've accomplished what we set out to do.
Yes.
You
Yeah.
have a good day and get to work.
Yes, I will. Thank you, Malcolm. Okay.
See you
Bye
later.
for now. Bye.